Welcome to the recorded workshop session for the Marketing Management Distance module.
I want to welcome you to our last workshop, Learning Unit 5, Distribution, Management and Retailing. You will realize that we find distribution under the marketing mix. Distribution is one of the 4 marketing mix commonly known as promotion. And hence we know that in an organization, when they produce products, they have to be able to sell them. And there's no product that is going to sell or to do well without promotion. And hence, we are going to look at that. We are now going to look at distribution, and we are saying, in as much a product would have been promoted and people are aware of the product, it has to be moved closer to where the consumers are so that they are able to access it. And hence, in this learning unit, we want to be able to go through the objectives that we must be able to understand at the end of this unit. The first objective is that we want to be able to identify the channel participants and describe the decision area in the channel design. We also want to be able to understand and be able to explain and discuss the 3 approaches to determine the extent of distribution and the various activities performed by the different channels. We will also want to be able to describe the 5 key areas of channel management and discussion, and be able to discuss the importance of specialization. We should be able to describe the relationship between customer service, flexibility, and inventories. We should be able to define and discuss supply chain management and the value chain concept. We should also be able to describe the impact of importing and exporting on distribution channels and the function of retailers. We want also at the end of this unit to be able to define franchising and describe its advantages and disadvantages. And lastly, we should be able to identify the 3 types of vertical marketing systems, the 3 classes of retailers, and the components of retailing mix. Introduction. Place is the final P of the marketing mix. This is more accurately described as distribution management, as it has to do with all the decision around not only identifying where the product must be placed, but also how to get it there in the most efficient and effective way possible. Distribution channel is a series of firms or individuals who participate in the flow of goods and services from producer to final user or consumer. Who are the distribution channel participants? Channels may be distinguished by the number of intermediaries they include. The more intermediaries, the longer the distribution channel. The major channels for consumer goods are producer to consumer. Secondly, producer to retailer to consumer. Thirdly, service producer to consumer. Fourthly, service to producer, to agent, to consumer. And then next, producer to wholesaler, to retailer, to consumer. And then producer to wholesaler, agent to wholesaler, to retailer, to consumer. Major channels for organizational products. 1, producer to user, producer to wholesaler to user, producer to agent, wholesaler to user. The direct channel to business marketing is the most common used channel in the marketing of organizational goods. The names of the manufacturer, the wholesaler, the organizational user channel vary and include jobbers or distributors that may deliver tools or equipment on the job. Business to business marketer also use agents, brokers are used on an occasional basis as needed. Manufacturer agents operate on a commission within fixed geographic territories and tend to represent several small manufacturers who lack the financial resources to hire a sales force. Distribution channel participants. Wholesalers. Wholesalers can also act as agents by buying merchandise on behalf of their customers. They add value to distribution channel through storage and bulk breaking and providing product ranges and assortments to retailers. A wholesaler's business is primarily engaged to selling merchandise to retails, to industrials, commercials, institutional or professional users, or to other wholesalers. Whereas retailers carry inventory to further bulk breaking and merchandise the wide range of products supplied by manufacturer, suppliers, wholesalers, to offer consumers a variety of products. A retailer is a business that sells goods and services to the consuming public for their own use and benefit. Hence, we look at importers, producers who are farmers, manufacturers, suppliers, food processors. These would be like wholesalers, and we have food wholesalers, distribution and retailers, and then we have retailers like restaurants, hotels, takeaway outlets, retail food chains, for example, Woolies. Industrial distribution channels, business to business. There are two ways to analyze industrial distribution channels. The first focuses on the basic flow of industrial material between manufacturers and end users. End users are not regarded in this instance as final consumers purchasing a product for own or household use. The end user may range from being a manufacturer, a producer, a processor, or a retailer. The good distributed in such a channel may range from being equipment, installation, accessories, component parts, and materials, and suppliers to business services. Hence, you can see that from a manufacturer, you can have the product going through distributors like agents, wholesalers, sales company, and wholesale distributors. And then that will then go to wholesalers, to dealers or users who are normally the end user of the product. The second type of channel focuses on the network or intermediaries involved in the processing of raw materials into eventual consumer goods. Channel design. Distribution management consists of two major decision areas: the formulation of sequence of intermediaries who participates voluntarily or non-voluntarily in a distribution channel, and then the number of intermediaries operating at the various levels, and lastly, the types of intermediaries used at each level. Importers, producers, manufacturers, suppliers provide food products to wholesalers who supply retailers with retailers who then provide food to the consumers. The best channel structure is reflected in the design that offers the desired performance, effectiveness at the lowest possible cost along each marketing function to be executed. Planning the channel of distribution. We are saying that distribution strategy requires two major decisions containing the structure and number of intermediaries that will be used. The first one is determining the structure of the channel. Selection criteria are influenced by a number of elements of the marketing mix, by resources, and by environmental factors. The second decision relates to the extent of the distribution by, e.g., determining the number of outlets, selecting the number of wholesalers and/or retailers, determines the number of outlets where possible consumers can expect to find the product. Intensive distribution. This intends to seek maximum exposure of product at the wholesale or retail levels. Selective distribution. This restricts the sale of a product such as cheap clothing to a limited number of outlets. Exclusive distribution. This carries with it the expectation of a maximum sales effort from the retailer or to benefit from the association with the prestige or efficiency of the retail outlet. Distribution structure decisions. Distribution structure decisions. Now, ideal market exposure. This is when a product is available widely enough to satisfy target consumers' needs but not exceed them. This may be intensive, selective, and exclusive. Whereas intensive distribution is selling a product, usually a convenience product, through as many suitable wholesalers and retailers who will stock and or sell the product, meaning sell it where they buy it. It involves the placement of products in many locations as possible. It works well when a cost leadership strategy is employed. A cost leadership strategy involves producing and distributing products at a very low per unit cost for price-sensitive customer segments. Low-cost production, technological improvements in production processes, and continuous capital investment in production leads to cost leadership. Whereas Selective distribution sells through only those middlemen who give the product special attention, meaning sell it where it sells best. Selective distribution involves placement of products, usually shopping products, in a more limited number of locations. It is an appropriate objective when a differentiation strategy is employed by the organization. A differentiation strategy emphasizes uniqueness in a manner that is meaningful to non-price sensitive customers. Hence, the emphasis here is to come up with a product that is so unique, that is so different from the rest of the products that are on the market. All the substitute products do not offer the same attributes as this product. The uniqueness can be achieved through product design, performance and quality, or through meaning differentiated distribution networks and service offerings. For example, Mercedes-Benz and Woolworth. Whereas exclusive distribution is selling through only one middleman in a particular geographic area. An exclusive distribution objective limits availability of a product to a very small number of locations. It is an appropriate objective when focus strategy is employed and a firm desires to enhance a product's image or desirable wholesaler subject is desired. A focus strategy involves concentration on a particular market segment in an industry. Focused strategies are designed to appeal to a unique segment, commonly known as the niche marketing. The focused competitor attempts to insulate itself from competition by serving a narrow market more efficiently and effectively than firms who are competing for the bulk of the market. Examples are exclusive fashion boutique and beauty spa products that are sold exclusively through beauty salons and spas. Subheading: innovative channel design structure. These are the result of changes in demand in the marketplace. The manufacturer must adapt to these changes to cater for consumers' changing needs. Using more than one distribution channel solves these problems. That is, this is also known as multi-channel distribution. Channel activities or functions. What are the channel activities or functions? Channel intermediaries perform a variety of functions, including breaking bulk, accumulating bulk, sorting, creating assortments, reducing transactions, transporting, storing, communicating, financing, providing management services, and other facilitating functions. Broadly speaking, members of the marketing channel perform the following key functions. One, they gather information about potential and current customers, competitors, and other actors and forces in the marketing environment. Secondly, they develop and disseminate persuasive communications to stimulate purchasing. Thirdly, they reach agreement on price and other terms so that the transfer of ownership or possession can be effected. Fourthly, they place orders with manufacturers. They also, fifthly, acquire the funds to finance inventories at different levels in the marketing channel. They also provide for successive storage and movement of physical products. They provide for buyers' payment of their bills through banks and other financial institutions. And then lastly, they oversee actual transfer and of ownership from one organization or person to another. There are many variations to the traditional channel of distribution consisting of manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer to consumer. Functions and activities performed by intermediaries. So we want to look at the functions now and the role that is played by intermediaries. The main channel intermediaries, namely wholesalers and retailers, perform different functions and are involved in a wide range of activities, which improves the efficiency of exchange. Their overall performance and service levels have made them dominant most distribution channels. The functions performed by the channel intermediaries includes resolving discrepancies, closing gaps, bridging gaps, and providing utility. Specialization also takes place in the channel, which improves the efficiency of exchange. Subheading: intermediaries close gaps and provide utility. Now, we are saying that channel activities performed by intermediaries fills gaps in form, in time, in place, and possession, and provide form, time, place, and possession utility between the manufacturer and the consumer. Channels of distributions create form, time, place, and possession utility by closing the 6 gaps of quantity, assortment, time, spatial, knowledge, and ownership between manufacturers and consumers. Retailers create utility advantages such as form, time, place, ownership, utility. The creation of the utility adds value to products and enables consumers to pick and choose what they want. Whereas the form utility is created when a product is changed to fulfill the needs of the consumer. For example, butcheries provide form utility by providing different cuts and quality of meat products, whereas convenient locations and direct marketing methods create place utility for the consumer through catalog purchasing, home delivery, and the proximity of the convenience, commonly known as corner stores. Buying and selling transactions between retailers and consumers creates ownership utility because ownership of the product is transferred to the consumer. Whereas retail trading hours And a wide product mix creates time utility because consumers can choose when they make or want to purchase, what they want to purchase, and how they want to purchase the product. Subheading, intermediaries resolve discrepancies. How do intermediaries resolve discrepancies? Intermediaries are introduced into the distribution channel structures when their specialization facilitates the overall exchange process and resolve certain discrepancies. Indirect channels are based when discrepancies and separations require channel specialists. Spatial discrepancies, first subheading. Let's look at spatial discrepancy. Now, supply sources are geographically dispersed throughout the country, and a basic need for physical transportation is created. The wine industry is located in the Western Cape, but certain raw materials and equipment is manufactured in other provinces and overseas. Wine consumers are also dispersed all over South Africa. A channel that delivers inventory nearer to the customer can close the spatial distance between the manufacturer and consumer and add value to the product being sold. Timing discrepancy. Goods are manufactured in large quantities, but retailers order smaller quantities, thus creating a timing discrepancy. Emphasis here is subsequently placed on the best timing of the product flow through distribution channels via production scheduling, just-in-time ordering systems, and inventory control procedures. Temporal discrepancy. In agricultural production and multi-manufacturing, goods are produced or grown at substantially different times than they are demanded. The consumer wants the manufacturer's product immediately, rather than whenever the manufacturer can supply it. Thus, there is a temporal discrepancy that a channel of distribution can solve by stocking the product or the desired product. Intermediaries adjust and process products and then store them until they are needed or are in a form that allows for long-term storage, such as wine and cheese. Intermediaries resolve discrepancies. Continued. Next heading, discrepancy of quantity assortment. What is the discrepancy of quantity assortment? This exists because manufacturers make large quantities of products, whereas consumers purchase in single units as part of an assortment. Intermediaries who categorize product offerings through sorting resolve this problem. Sorting is the ability of channel partners to create unique and need-satisfying product assortments through the following. 1, standardization. This relates to collecting uniform products from alternative suppliers and manufacturers. These products are graded according to size, quality, and weight. Secondly, according to accumulation. Here we are saying assembling standard products according to aspects such as size, quality, and weight, into large quantities for transport to other distribution channel intermediaries. Thirdly, according to allocation. Here we are saying the general wholesale stage of providing adequate supply for numerous customers, such as tools, hardware, and building material. And then fourthly, it is also according to assortment. The assembly of specific goods into a customized order for specific customer groups, such as a department store that offers merchandise assortments consisting of clothing, appliances, hardware, and furniture. For example, game. We know that if you go to game, you can go and buy clothing, you can buy appliances, you can buy hardware, you can also buy furniture. And then the next grading is according to discrepancy of possession, knowledge, and or ownership. Here we are saying that intermediaries are also involved in the transfer of ownership of goods from the manufacturer to the customer. Discrepancies of possession, knowledge, and ownership require that intermediaries provide information about the items and some temporary credit, guarantees, or adjustments in order to complete the sale to the consumer. Lastly, we also look at grading according to intermediaries reduce transactions. The theory of efficiency of exchange suggests that intermediaries prevail to make exchanges because it is more efficient to have intermediaries involved in the distribution of products than having different producers to produce to customers for exchanging needed products and services. Let's look at the next heading. Intermediaries synchronize needs to bulk breaking and reassort product offering. We are saying because channels provide time, place, and ownership utility, they make products available when, where, and in the sizes and quantities that customers want. They synchronize needs. Hence, we are saying distribution channels create efficiencies by reducing the number of transactions necessary for goods to flow from many different manufacturers to large number of customers. The first way is called breaking bulk. Here, wholesalers and retailers purchase large quantities of goods from manufacturers but sell only one or a few at a time to many different consumers. Secondly, channel intermediaries reduce the number of transactions by creating assortment. We are saying this is where we are providing a variety of products in one location so that customers can conveniently buy many different items from one seller at a time. Specialization in the distribution channel. Specialization in the distribution channel. Now we are saying in order for products to move from manufacturers to users, the products must be handled, they must be packaged, assembled, stored, shipped, displayed, sold, and serviced. Each of these activities involves costs and is performed by firms operating the channel based upon their skills and efficiencies. Let's look at the three types of specialized activities can be identified by. The first one is transactional activities. We are saying that here, these are involved in moving the goods through the channel, such as buying, selling, pricing, promoting the products, and risk taking. The second one is physical activities. Here we are saying that this includes warehousing, order processing, storing, sorting, transporting, and repairing goods. The third one is facilitating activities. This is the sale of goods to the end users by, for example, product grading, marketing research, providing advice on product use, and assisting customers with financing of the purchase. Let's now look at the types of specialists. Types of specialists. The most distribution channels, in most cases, the distribution channels specialist service providers have emerged that distributed to the success and contributed to the efficiency of distribution channels by providing gaps between production, supply, and customer demand by performing certain activities. Let's look at the two types of specialists. The first one is called functional service providers. Functional service providers. These are actively engaged in the day-to-day performance of the channel. For example, relating to moving, modifying, or otherwise physically handling a product during distribution process, or through physically handling a product during and direct involvement in the selling process. For example, transportation in terms of courier services, warehousing, and assembly. The second one is support specialists. These are firms that facilitate overall channel performance by providing essential ingredients or services. Unlike the functional specialists, a support firm does not engage in actual selling or in the logistics process of the channel. For example, advertising, financial information. If we look at organizations like Telcom, provides ADSL and insurance. Specialization in the distribution channel. In order for products to move from manufacturers to users, the products must be handled, packaged, assembled, stored, shipped, displayed, sold, and serviced. Each of these activities involves costs and is performed by firms operating the channel based upon their skills and efficiencies. Let's look at the three types of specialized activities that can be identified. The first one is what is called transactional activities. These are involved in moving the goods through the channel, such as buying, selling, pricing, promoting, and risk taking. The second one is physical activities, which includes warehousing, order processing, storing, sorting, and transporting goods. The third one is facilitating activities in the sale of goods to the end users. Let's now look at the reasons for specializations. What are the reasons for specialization? The first one is economic justification. Economic justification. Widespread realization that specialists can perform a specific activity for primary channel members at a lower cost as a result of specialization and division of labor is a long-standing economic principle. Intermediaries can reduce costs and provide services more efficiently and effectively than producers such as independent operators. Independent truckers who deliver beer and soft drinks to retailers. Here we are saying the more you do a certain job, a certain task, you develop skills to do it better, faster, efficiently, and more, economically, meaning you are able to reduce costs. Secondly, it is about risk involvement. A trend toward increased use of external service providers results from increased willingness on the part of the specialists to assume more active participation in risks associated with channel performance. Risk is spread among distribution partners, which provides an incentive to perform at a higher standard. Higher service levels throughout the distribution system lead to a higher value offering that builds customer loyalty. The next one is concentration and alliances. Concentration and alliances. We are saying that many of the ancillary services are combining or forming alliances, giving them greater power, resources, and a more one-stop shop approach. This has led to a trend to develop closer working relationships with a few key service providers. Supply-side concentration means that fewer specialists are more deeply involved in business affairs of primary channels, intermediaries. For example, telecom only deals with a few key independent service providers. Such supplier alliances lead to continuous productivity improvement. The next one is service specialist leadership. Service specialist leadership. Here we are saying that access to state-of-the-art information technology and excellent logistical operations can lead to specialization opportunities. For example, United Parcel Services in the USA handles much of Amazon's .com's orders. Let's continue with reasons for specializing. The next one is changing attitudes towards outsourcing, right? Managerial attitudes and philosophies of primary channel members have significantly changed regarding willingness to outsource the performance of essential services. Instead of complete vertical integration, there is a growing awareness that primary channel members need to refocus their managerial talents and resources on core requirements of their basic business and outsource certain non-core business activities to those firms that specialize in them. The next one is availability of resources. Another reason for specialist involvement in resource-driven areas, whereas the variable expense may not be significantly different from performed internally or by an external service specialist. The resources required to support the service are more often significantly different in that it is no less. The next one is ability to exercise control. A final source stimulating the use of outside specialists is the increased confidence among primary channel members that their information technology is adequate to maintain control over outsourced service. Let's look at assembly, fulfillment, and sequencing services provided by functional specialists. First one is the assembly. The providers here of assembly services modify products while they are being in the distribution channel. The economic justification for conducting final product assembly within distribution channel is based on the potential benefits of form postponement. Commonly performed assembly tasks are labeling, painting, mixing, and virtually any other activity capable of anticipatory commitments in the channel. Transportation and warehousing firms are ideally positioned to perform assembly because they can provide such value-added services as a supplementary to hauling or storing the associated freight. Difference between time and form postponement consists of delaying final performing, manufacturing, assembling of packaging until customer preference is established. The basic idea of form postponement is to delay product location or positioning until receipt of customer orders. The next one is fulfillment. Fulfillment is a relatively new concept that relates to a specialized form of handling and arranging for shipment of promotional or point of sale advertising material. The fulfillment firm is contracted to process, ship particular types of merchandise or supplies on behalf of a manufacturer, a wholesaler, or a retailer. Fulfillment services are common in distribution of services, promotion materials, catalogs, and sales force and point of sale advertising and support materials. The next one is sequencing. Sequencing consists of sorting merchandise into a unique configuration to satisfy a particular customer's requirements. Let's look at channel management. How do we manage the channel? The first one is cooperation and conflict. Cooperation and conflict. Channel cooperation occurs when members share harmonious marketing objectives and strategies. The next one is channel conflict. This occurs when members cannot agree and it must be managed. Conflicts exist when channel members have disagreements and an antagonistic relationship caused by absence of clearly and identified locus of formal channel power or disagreements about common purpose or responsibility for activities. For example, when a wholesaler is frustrated because the manufacturer bypasses it and sells directly to the larger accounts, or when retailers disagree with territory. Channel power. Channel power is the ability of one organization in a channel to exert influence over the other members, where the most powerful is the leader. And then referent power. This occurs when other members respect, admire, and identify with the channel leader. For example, in South Africa, SAB Miller. Let's now look at the types of conflict. Types of conflict. The first one is what is known as vertical channel conflict. Vertical channel conflict. This means conflict between different levels within the same channel. For example, General Motors has come into conflict with its dealers in trying to enforce policies on service, pricing, and advertising. Vertical channel conflict is currently raging in consumer packaged goods, where power has shifted from producers to retailers. Retailers seeking maximum productivity from their limited shelf space are able to collect slotting fees from manufacturers for stocking new products, display fees to cover space costs, fines for late delivery and incomplete orders, and what is known as exit fees to cover the cost of retaining goods to the producers. Manufacturers try to gain power from retailers by expanding into alternative channels, putting more emphasis on market-leading brands, and developing stronger links with important retailers through value-added distribution systems. Horizontal channel conflict. This involves conflict between members at the same level within the channel. For example, when some Pizza Inn franchises complained about other Pizza Inn franchise cheating on ingredients, giving poor service, and hurting the overall Pizza Inn image. Multi-channel conflict. Multi-channel conflict exists when the manufacturer has established two or more channels that sell to the same market. For example, when Goodyear in the US began selling its tires through Walmart and Sears. Let's now look at channel redesign. Channel redesign. Channel adjustments means purposeful modifications to intermediary relationships become necessary when conditions in the marketplace change. There are three types of channels modifications that are associated with product life cycles, customer-driven refinements, and the need for multi-channel systems. The following are indicators that channel redesign might be necessary. So when the following happen, you are able to tell that no, there is need here for channel redesign. The first one is changes in the customer buying patterns may signal this need. When you see that there are changes in the buying pattern of your customer, it signals channel redesign. Secondly, the movement of a product through its life cycle may also be a stimulus for channel modification. Thirdly, channel modifications may be necessitated by environmental changes. When there are a lot of changes within the environment, that necessitates channel modification. Fourthly, changes in the economic condition, such as rapid inflation, frequently result in channel modification. And then lastly, changes in industry and competition, competitive conditions, such as mergers, acquisitions, and buyouts, frequently result in altered channel arrangements. Let's look at the circumstance indicators for redesigning its channel. One, the development of a new product or entire product line. That circumstance is an indicator for redesigning the channel. The second one is a decision to target existing products or product lines to new consumer or business markets or geographical areas. And then thirdly, awareness that significant changes have been or about to be introduced to some other aspect of the organization's marketing mix. Let's also look at the ethical and legal concerns. The first one is that exclusive dealing arrangements can stop the distribution of competitors' goods, and that's illegal. Secondly, typing agreements which tie the purchase of one product to the purchase of another is illegal. Thirdly, issues such as recycling also have ethical, political, and legal implications. Reverse distribution. Now, when we talk about reverse distribution, we are saying backward channels of distribution are critical for ecological goals and the success of recycling efforts within a reverse distribution process. For example, a supermarket chain sells many products packaged in aluminum cans and glass bottles. It does not offer any recycling service. When the distributors agree to participate in a manufacturer's recycling efforts, they become part of a backward channel. Let's look at the impact of product life cycle on distribution. Another management tool is to determine whether a product's life cycle stage impacts its distribution channel structure. The introductory stage may be the most difficult of all stages. It may be hard to get middlemen or retailers to stock or carry the product. Also, manufacturers may limit coverage to certain geographic areas due to uncertainty of demand or the needed production investment. Growth phase. Rapid market, which is commonly known as the growth phase, is the one that follows competitors enter the field and overall market demand increases. Distribution strategy may be broadened to new geographic markets and increased in an attempt to foreclose the market to competition. The key objective here is increased market penetration and may require some price or promotion concessions to middlemen as the various competitors fight each other for distribution outlets. As the rate of sales slows, which is the maturity stage, the established distribution structure begin to pressure for reduced prices, increased margins, and similar concessions. The key objective is maintaining the distribution intensity at the appropriate level by satisfying the requirements of the participants in the channel. During this stage, producers may also seek new users and markets for the products, which may require altered or new distribution channels. The final stage is the decline stage. As the demand declines, it becomes increasingly difficult and frequently undesirable to maintain distribution intensity. All channel members face a decision regarding the appropriate strategy to employ at the same time. Some middlemen may delete the product from their assortment, while others continue it as competition is reduced for maintaining and remaining for the remaining consumers. Simultaneously, some producers may delete the product while others delete marginal middlemen, but cut expenses and perhaps add some middlemen who were eliminated by their competitors. The end result is a reduced level of competition at all channel levels, and new channel arrangements are among those who choose to maintain the product. Manufacturers' push and pull strategies. What are the manufacturers' push and pull strategies? A pull strategy attempts to stimulate demand for a product by promotional effort aimed at the consumer or industrial user at the end of the distribution channel. The goal is to build demand at the level of the retailers. Wholesalers or distributors feel compelled to stock that product in their respective assortments. Ultimately, the product is pulled down the distribution channel due to end user demand. A push strategy focuses the manufacturer's promotional efforts on the members of the distribution channel itself, rather than the final user. Trade advertising and allowances, trade promotions, and personal selling are designed to influence middlemen to stock the manufacturer's products and promote them to the final consumer. Very few manufacturers employ pure push and pull strategies. An effective promotional effort generally makes use of both. Let's look at physical distribution, commonly known as logistics. Physical distribution or logistics. General thinking says advantages are found in a product, whereas advantages are found within any of the 4 P's of the marketing mix, including place, which is known as what? Distribution. Effective physical distribution can provide an organization with advantages over its rivals, especially in industries where products and prices are similar. For example, salespeople can use rapid delivery as a special appeal. Defining physical distribution. Physical distribution describes the entire process of moving raw materials and component parts into the firm, moving in-process inventories through the firm, and moving finished goods out of the firm. Physical distribution comprises of a broad range of activities concerned with efficient movement of finished products from the end of the production line to the consumer. The purpose of physical distribution is to minimize costs while maximizing customer service. Subheading: supply chain. The term supply chain is used to describe all the organizations that regularly supply a marketing company and all members of the channel of distribution. It involves planning, implementing, controlling the efficient flow of both inbound material and outbound finished goods. Supply chain management. Supply chain management, commonly also known as logistics management, involves planning, implementing, and controlling a chain of organizational relationships to assure the efficient flow of both inbound material and outbound finished products. Materials management. This is concerned with bringing raw materials and supplies to the point of production and moving in process inventory through the firm. Let's look at cross-section of the physical distribution system. A cross-section of the physical distribution system. Physical distribution consists of several activities which include: 1, warehousing and storage. The purpose of warehousing is to hold merchandise until it is demanded by the market and to break bulk. Warehousing is particularly important for seasonal products. Second one, order processing. This relates to the number and timing of orders. It is expected to manage inventory so that ideal inventory levels are maintained most of the time. Materials handling and materials management. Materials handling focuses on moving inventories of products, for example, forklifts and conveyor belts. Materials management is the procurement of raw materials and parts and their movement to the point of production. The fourth one is protective packaging and containerization. An example would be paper in 200 sheet packs within cardboard boxes of 10 rims each, boxes stacked on pallets for shipment. The last one is transportation. This is the actual shipment of the goods. Let's look at managing the components of physical distribution. Physical distribution activities include 5 major areas of concern. The first one is transportation. Transportation decisions involve specific mode that will be used to physically move products for a manufacturer, a grower, a wholesaler, or other seller to the receiving facilities of the buyer. The 5 major modes of transportation vary in flexibility, speed, reliability, tendency to damage goods, and costs. Let's first of all look at the advantages and disadvantages of different transport modes. Looking firstly at the rail transportation. Rail transportation. Now, this moves freight over long distances at very low cost, especially when the shipment size is large. In addition to deviation in transit services, railroads also provide some specialized cars, rates to appeal to certain users. The second one is road transportation. This involved motor carriers, trucks, and the far less important bus freight companies. This is efficient at moving goods over short distances, is flexible, and has a far better record than railroads in fewer damages in transit for cartons and on-time delivery. Trucks provide an effective array of specialized equipment, are fast, flexible, and reliable, and have a good reputation in terms of breaking breakage of goods. However, they cannot move they are not able to move volume of freight like the railroads can. Their greatest advantage is their flexibility. They can go door to door with their cargo and have satellite tracking. The third one is air freight. This is fast but very expensive. Primary advantage are its speed and distance capabilities, reliability, the ability to span great distances and reach otherwise inaccessible areas with gentle treatment of merchandise. The fourth one is water transportation. This is inexpensive but slow and is generally the lowest cost mode of transportation, but it is limited to use, whereas ports and waterways are available. Water transport is subject to freezing of canals, ports and rivers in the winter. Thus, it is not particularly reliable and has got poor, damaged goods reputation. The last one is pipelines. These are efficient movers but can only deliver to specific terminals. Pipelines are the most specialized means of transport designed to carry specific products. Once built, pipelines offer an inexpensive means of moving such products as oil and natural gases. Let's look at managing the components of physical distribution. Warehousing. This is the holding and housing of goods between the time they are produced excuse me, and the time they are shipped to the buyer, and refers to housing and distribution center. Whatever the name, the emphasis is on moving, not keeping the product. Warehousing involves many activities, both large and small, but taken as a whole consists of two major activities: storage and breaking bulk. Storage consists of housing and holding and housing goods in inventory and is necessary because of the virtually inevitable discrepancies that almost always occur between cycles of production and cycles of consumption. Note that storage can be part of the production rather than distribution if storage is necessary because, before the product is bottled and sold, as in the case of wine and brandy. Breaking bulk involves converting large shipment of products as they arrive at the warehouse in smaller quantities for the consumers. Managing the components of physical distribution. Warehousing. Warehousing strategy involves two basic decisions: determining the optimum number, location, and types of warehouses needed. Secondly, calculating the proper levels of inventory to be stocked. The best plan is the one that maximizes customer service and minimizes costs and provides a strategic advantage. Reasons why organizations store goods in warehouses: 1, irregular production facing regular demand as with agricultural goods. Secondly, regular production facing irregular demand as with air conditioners. Thirdly, the desire to postpone the sale of a product until prices are higher. Fourthly, the desire to have products ready to move when a planned promotional campaign begins. And then lastly, the need to have inventories handy to meet buyers in emergency of need of demand. Inventory control. This involves decisions concerning how large or small inventories should be and how overstocking of inventory can be weighed against costly stock outs. There are three major costs of inventories included. The first one is acquisition costs. The expenses incurred in obtaining inventory. And then secondly, holding costs. These are expenses incurred to keep inventory housed. And then lastly, out of stock costs. These are the losses that occur when customers demand goods the marketer cannot provide. Economic order quantity, commonly known as EOQ, economic order quantity. This is a mathematically determined purchase order size that yields the lowest total order, which is processing and inventory holding costs. The inventory holding problem. This is one of trying to balance the goals of minimizing costs while satisfying the customers. Material management handling. This involves the physical handling and moving about of inventory, a process that is increasingly being mechanized and automated. Materials management refers to the activities involved in getting raw materials and parts to the point of production. Material handling, this focuses on moving inventories of product. And then vendor analysis and just-in-time inventory systems. These are aspects of materials management that influence marketing mix decisions. Organizations perform vendor analysis, rating suppliers on such attributes as speed of delivery, quality of products, and reliability of service. And then a term commonly known as GIT, or just-in-time inventory system. These have been developed where the idea is to have supplies arriving as and when they are needed by an organization, eliminating the need to stockpile those items. International sourcing is a current trend in material management. It refers to the reach of business increasing toward truly worldwide markets. Order processing. This is the procedure followed to fulfill customer orders after these have been received by the company. The process begins when orders are received and ends when merchandise has been shipped and bills sent to customers. Shipments are therefore broken down into orders, while the use of color coding may also ease handling difficulties. The system's approach to physical distribution and total cost. The systems concept in physical distribution. The system concept in physical distribution is little different to the systems concept in other fields. The basic idea is that elements in a system are strong, interrelated, and interact in their effects on the achievement of a goal. Within a physical distribution system is maximized customer satisfaction at minimum cost. meaning the cheapest mode of transportation may be the most expensive when its effects on the system is calculated. The speedy but expensive mode may in fact be the cheapest given its effect on the system. The total cost concept in physical distribution. The total cost concept takes a systems approach to physical distribution, placing the emphasis on controlling total cost, forces the manager to focus on how the parts of the system can be used to keep total costs down. Raising expenditures in one part of the system may reduce total costs. Lowering expenditures in one part of the system might raise total costs. In relation to physical distribution, the focus is on the entire range of costs associated with a particular distribution method, handling costs at each stage of the channel, storage, transportation, to a wholesaler and then to a retailer or industrial user, and expenditures for paperwork. Cost-cutting example includes robotics and automated warehousing, order processing efficiencies, lower cost transportation carriers, relocating offices, plants or warehouses to lower cost countries or areas and passing on to logistics function to the customer. The total cost concept looks at the distribution job to be done not in terms of lowest transportation, handling or other costs, but in terms of all costs and most importantly, their total or bottom line. Customer service. Customers want products, not excuses. In terms of distribution, customer service refers to how rapidly and independently a firm can deliver what customers want. Physical distribution provides maximum satisfaction to buyers whilst reducing costs. The central objective of physical distribution is to keep costs down while keeping the level of service up. Yet improved service raises costs. Service quality logistics. Service quality indicators, these are: 1, damage-free shipment; 2, correct and error-free invoices; 3, returns and effortlessly handled; 4, unexpected problems are rapidly resolved. Let's now look at the 3 characteristics of firms that excel in service quality. 1, they implement mechanisms to give customers access to accurate and timely information. Secondly, they resolve customer requests and special requirements without extensive delays. Thirdly, they have the ability to make brilliant recoveries. Let's look at the relationship between customer satisfaction and service quality. Quality is defined in terms of customer satisfaction. Quality is the company's performance to deliver customer satisfaction. Service quality depends on expectations and perceived performance. Customer satisfaction is a marketing issue, and service quality assurance is an operational issue. The difference between speed of service and consistency of service. Speed of service is the elapsed lead time customers expect from a firm from whom they purchase. Speed of service is a measure planned to actual time required to complete all essential order activities. Order cycle consistency is typically a more critical measure of customer service capability than lead time. The expected time for a vendor to complete the overall order cycle in comparison to the actual or average time over a number of order cycles is the measure of consistency. It is widely acknowledged that consistency of service is considerably more important than potential speed of service. The marketer must understand what its target customer actually wants. One, lot size. Lot size. This is the number of units the channel permits a typical customer to purchase on one occasion. And then waiting time. The average time customers of that channel wait for receipt of the goods. And then spatial convenience. This is the degree to which the marketing channel makes it easy for customers to purchase the product. Product variety. This is the assortment breadth provided by the channel. And then service backup. This is the add-on services. For example, credit, delivery, installation, repairs. That is provided by the channel. Cost. Operations and supply chain activities often account for most of an organization's costs. They are natural targets in cost reduction efforts. After sales cost. This can be a critical performance dimension, especially if the purchased goods or services has a high price tag or is critical to customer success. Product availability. This is the ability of the supplier to provide products on demand. It is measured in terms of the percentage of items or lines that can be filled from existing inventory, or as the percentage of order that are shipped complete. Capability. This refers to the length of time required to fill orders, the ability of logistics system to adapt to special requirements, and the avoidance of errors such as damage or incorrect shipment. Performance dimensions to analyze customers' desired service output levels. Information support. This is the ability of the logistics system to support a product throughout its life cycle, including the ability to handle situations such as installing, servicing, updating, and product recall. Quality. Quality, this is the subdivided into following categories: functionality, conformance, reliability, durability, safety, serviceability. Anesthetics. Does the product or service appeal to the senses? Delivery performance. This has got two basic characteristics. One, delivery speed is the elapsed time from the receipt of order to the final delivery. Delivery reliability refers to the ability to deliver services on time. Flexibility. Mixed flexibility refers to the ability to produce a wide range of different products. Changeover flexibility is the ability to begin production of a new product with minimal delay. Design flexibility refers to the ability to change the design of a product to accommodate specific customers. Volume flexibility is the ability to produce whatever volume the customer needs. Let's look at flexibility, inventories, and customer service. An important principle in supply chain management is customer service. Customer satisfaction is desired end result of any supply chain management strategy. And the basis for good customer service is flexibility and inventory. Customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction relates to the level of satisfaction among an organization customers and is based on their expectation of and the perceived experience of the customer service offered by the organization. Typical measures of customer service are a customer's ability to fill orders within a due date, fill rate, or its ability to deliver products to customers within the time quoted, which means on-time deliveries. Inventories. Manufacturers have inventories for raw materials, products in the production process, intermediate and semi-finished products, and finished products. Inventories holding large quantities of stock are costly. It is desired to avoid so-called dead inventory. Inventory that is left when a product is no longer on the market. This is often referred to as end-of-life write-offs. Flexibility. This can be defined as the ability to respond to changes in the environment. Flexibility is the ability to change the output in response to changes in demand. The trade-offs between inventories versus customer satisfaction is one of the most challenging issues of logistics and supply chain management. The interrelationship between inventory and flexibility can be described as having a flexibility buffer. A manufacturer's flexibility is its ability to respond to changes in demand. A macro perspective. The service of effectiveness of distribution must also be gauged from a macro perspective, as output of distribution is a series of services for consumers. Let's look at the classification of services. 1, lot size refers to the ability of the consumer to purchase products in the quantity and desired. And while the waiting time is the length of time it takes for the consumers to gain possession of goods after they have purchased them. Market decentralization. This refers to the proximity of goods to buyers and their convenience in buying, whereas product variety refers to the consumer's ability to purchase an assortment of goods and services that match their unique desires. Supply chain management. Supply chain management. Supply chain management is the integration of the logistics requirements of the supplier, distributor, and customer into one cohesive process that includes demand planning, forecasting, material requisition, order processing, inventory allocation, order fulfillment, transportation, services, receiving, invoicing, and payment. Supply chain management also involves the management and control of all materials, funds, and related information in the logistics process, from the acquisition of raw materials to the delivery of finished products to the end user, as well as the reverse distribution, such as repair work and recall, product withdrawal, and discarding and recycling of products. Materials flow downstream from raw material sources through a manufacturing level where the raw materials are transformed into intermediate products, also referred to as components or parts. These are assembled on the next level to form products. The products are shipped to distribution centers and from there on to retailers and manufacturers. Primary decisions made within the supply chain. 1, developing. This involves new product development and design, product innovation, and or product adaptation. And then secondly, planning. Planning involves determining the quality of the final product, designing or adapting the final process. Third one, sourcing. This refers to choosing suppliers, locating suppliers, deciding how much raw materials to order, designing transportation channels. Fourthly, production. This looks at location of production plants, meaning domestic or international factories, whether to make, buy, or release production facilities, plants, and tools, deciding on the capacity of production plants, decisions about manufacturing products according to quality specifications, and make focus low-cost leader differentiation strategy. Fifthly, inventory. How much inventory of raw materials, intermediate products, semi-finished products to hold, which is commonly referred to as safety stock, deciding on whether the company should follow a GIT approach, just in time, according to orders, how much to order, when to order, and then transportation logistics. Objectives of a supply chain management. 1, it increases communication along all nodes of the supply chain to create an performance and an uninterrupted flow of materials and products. Secondly, decrease inventory while still maintaining high customer service levels. Thirdly, reduces the supplier base and develop supplier relationships in order to reduce overall costs. And then lastly, standardize parts as much as possible in order to reduce the amount of inventory to be carried to fulfill customer orders within an acceptable time frame. Principles of supply chain management. For a supply chain to be effectively managed, certain principles need to be followed. These are communication, flexibility, inventories, and customer service. A collaborative supply chain is not necessarily implemented overnight. Aspects of supply chain management. 1, value adding. This refers to the added benefit a service or product provides. Reducing variability is one of the most important aspects of supply chain management, commonly known as SCM. It refers to the uncertainty in a supply chain. Supply chain visibility. This is to increase communication among the different nodes in the supply chain. This enables a company to better understand what is happening throughout the supply chain. By increasing visibility, variability is reduced, which will improve overall operations of the company. And then a warehouse management system determines the best place to store inventory, the most efficient sequence of picking inventory from the warehouse, as well as the best methods of packaging the inventory for shipment in containers and packaging, such as choosing the most efficient carton size. Value chain. The value chain concept breaks any distribution structure into value-adding components that show how value is added incrementally through various stages of the industry. The generic value chain of Porter. The generic value chain of Porter. 1. Organization infrastructure. This involves financing, planning, and general management. 2. Human resources. This occurs in all departments, i.e., recruitment, selection, training, development, rewards, and remuneration. Thirdly, technology development. Technology is an important source of competitive advantage. Procurement. These involve supplying inputs for each primary activity. Inbound logistics. This refers to the sequence of bringing materials into the business, such as transport and warehousing. Operations. This refers to modifying and adapting materials, production, and processes. Outward bound logistics. This involves sending goods out, such as transport, delivery, and warehousing. Marketing and sales includes branding, positioning, promotion, and selling. After sales includes such as after-sales service, repairs, and maintenance. Let's now look at the core processes in supply chain. The first one is product development. The second one is inventory management processes. The third one is order to payment processes. The last one is customer service processes. Let's look at the channels for services. There are 4 distinguishing characteristics of services. Services are distinguished because of 1, intangibility. Secondly, services are distinguished because of inseparability of production and consumption, meaning you cannot distinguish or you cannot separate the place of production and the place of consumption. And then the third one is perishability, meaning that services perish. If not used in time, you cannot then reuse it tomorrow. Hence, we say services are perishable. The last one is that services are distinguished, or one of their main characteristics is that they are heterogeneous, meaning that they combine a number of effects. Import-export channels. The international distribution channels. We have got overseas franchisor, for example, the Coca-Cola company in the USA, and then we have got a local manufacturer, for example, the bottling company commonly known as ABI, and then we have got a local wholesaler, for example, Macro, and then we have got a local retailer, for example, Pick and Pay, and then finally it gets to the what? To the consumer. Franchising is the collaboration between an independent person and a company that wishes to expand its business. This collaboration is governed by a franchise agreement. In order to expand the business, the company, which is the franchisor, allows a third party, which is the franchisee, the right to use its trade name, business methods, and know-how. In return, the franchisee, who is an independent trader, accepts certain restrictions on the way he or she conducts their business. The franchisee also agrees to make loyalty payments to the franchisor. Franchising is the practice of using another firm's successful business format and trademark. In essence, the rationale for creating franchise distribution systems is that such systems make investment opportunities available to franchisees without their having to develop new products, create new companies, or test the market. In return, the franchisee gives up some independence and pays the franchisor a fee based on an agreed fixed sum or as a percentage of gross sales or turnover. Types of franchises. Franchises can be classified according to types of participants, types of businesses, or nature or extent of services exchange. Types of participants. One, between a manufacturer and a wholesaler, for example, Coca-Cola, ABI, and the bottling plants. Two, between a manufacturer and a retailer, for example, a motor industry, Mazda dealership. Three, between a wholesaler and a retailer, for example, pharmaceutical industry, Leaks and Plus pharmacies. Fourthly, between a service provider and a retailer, e.g. fast food industry, KFC. Types of businesses. We do have fast foods, for example, Steers, and then the hospitality, for example, Formula One and Holiday Inn hotels. Nature and extent of services exchanged. One, full format, for example, Ultra City, and then two, product or trade name, e.g. Midas. Advantages of franchising. Franchisee systems facilitate the control of critical market information between franchisee and franchisor so that consumer preferences, complaints, and purchases intentions can be more speedily reflected in marketing and production planning. The franchise system provides immediate investment incentives by making substantial sales, services, and management assistance available to potential franchisees, and in return, the franchisor expands his or her business operations, penetrates markets, and contributes to economic growth and customer choice and satisfaction in the market areas. Franchising has also opened up opportunities to empower members of disadvantaged communities to own successful business formats. Franchising has also been the most successful way of sidestepping state-controlled distribution systems in the foreign countries where few incentives exist to deliver products on time. Franchisor services to the franchisee. Initial services at the inception are facilities design and layout of the site, sign making, and decor. Secondly, training managers and staff at the site, on the job, or at the training center, and then operating advice through operating manuals, market studies, business forums and forms, mechanizing methods, and then financing franchise fees, equipment and lease building, market surveys, trade area analysis, site selection, and market forecasting. The franchisor also provide continuing services, business counseling, image building, and national advertising to reinforce brand awareness, supervision, employee training and field supervision, quality control, inspections, and creating improvement procedures, sales promotion, point of sales materials, competitions, free samples, and product development and packaging receipts, flavors, etc. Advantages of franchising to the franchisor. The franchisor are able to acquire funds without the burden of creating debts. No need to borrow money from financial institutions. Secondly, sharing ownership through equity financing is eliminated. No shareholding stakes. Place because the franchise operates on a license basis and does not acquire any direct ownership in franchisor business. A high level of flexibility in the use of capital and the ability to accumulate capital. Franchisors can use the franchise income to fund national advertising, franchise training, and other business operations. Franchising creates corporate advertising opportunities, which are partially funded by the fees paid by the franchisee. Franchising allows for an alternative to the development of company-owned outlets and branches. This reduces costs by setting up independent entrepreneurs. This creates the opportunity for a more rapid market penetration. And then lastly, franchisee as independent entrepreneurs are more likely to be more motivated to succeed than employees who work for a salary. Disadvantages of franchising. Government all over the world are scrutinizing ways to curb or limit the channel power of franchisors. Franchisors have to find sources of power other than legal ones to exercise control over franchises. Franchises who mismanage their enterprise, e.g. providing inadequate service, harm the image of the franchise. Franchisees who have the ability to buy products from other independent sources adversely affect the franchisor's profitability. And then lastly, trade secrets, marketing strategies, and strategic plans are often revealed to competitors. Advantages of franchising to the franchisee. The risk of business failure is greatly reduced as the business approach has been proven over time and has a good reputation. The franchisor not only offers initial services, but also provides continuing services during the run of the franchise agreement. Franchising allows an entrepreneur to enter a business that would be prohibitively expensive if tried on his or her own. And many franchise packages include standardized methods of operation, promotion, as well as personal training. And then franchising offers the opportunity to realize a higher return on investment. Disadvantages of franchising to the franchisee. Franchisees may have the impression that operating a franchise will in itself guarantee profits. Encroachment may occur when the franchisor opens another franchise too close to an existing franchisee. Encroachment may also occur due to changes in local market and demand situations. And then lastly, conflict may arise concerning how and when the franchisee launches promotional campaign. Let's now look at vertical marketing system, commonly known as the VMS, vertical marketing system. In a vertical marketing system, members are owned outright by the controlling organization, to ensure cooperation and to increase effectiveness. An administered alliance is composed of organizations that follow the lead of the channel leader, whereas a vertical marketing system is a distribution channel arrangement in which the channel operates as an integrative system with joint objectives instead of the traditional channel where all intermediaries are working for themselves. A corporate VMS is a single firm that owns or operates 2 or more consecutive levels of the distribution channels. Types of vertical marketing systems. The first one is what is known as corporate systems. This is characterized by total ownership. The second one is contractual systems. This type of VMS or vertical marketing system is characterized by a legal relationship. Retailer cooperative organizations are groups of independent retailers that combine resources and expertise to control their wholesaling needs through centralized buying centers. The wholesaler sponsored voluntarily change is sponsored by the wholesaler to service a network of loyal retailers, whereas a franchise is a contractual agreement between a franchisor, manufacturer or wholesaler and a number of independent retailers who are the franchisees. 3 types of contractual VMS arrangements. 3 types of contractual VMS arrangements. 1, wholesaler-sponsored voluntary chains organized by groups of independent retailers to better compete with large chain organizations. 2, retailer cooperative arise when the stores take initiative and organize new business entity to carry on wholesaling and possibly some production. 3, franchise organizations are created when a channel member called a franchisor links several successive stages in the production distribution process. Administered strategic alliances. These type of VHS is characterized by strong leadership. This is a vertical marketing system in which strong channel leader coordinates marketing activities at all levels in the channel through planning and management of mutually beneficial programs. This dependency is based on the realization by participating channel members that it is necessary to follow the leader if they desire continued participation in the administered arrangement. An alliance VHS is voluntary form of extended organizations, typically not formalized but contractual arrangements. Retailing. Retailers contribute to the process of creating value by making products available when and where consumers want to buy them, and by facilitating purchases through services such as acceptance of credit cards, lay-by plans, and selling products in small quantities. They provide comparison shopping convenience for consumers by offering a selection of merchandise from different manufacturers. Let's look at the different types of retailers. 1, classifying retailers by ownership. Independent retailers are single unit entities that are not owned or controlled by an organization. Leased department retailers are independent that own the merchandise stocked by the lease floor space from another retailer. Whereas a chain store is one of a group of 2 or more stores of similar type, centrally owned and operated. The term corporate chain is used for chains with 11 or more stores. Retail franchisees are a special type of chain with central planning, independently owned outlets. For example, Midas hardware stores. An ownership group is an organization made up of various stores or small chains, each having a separate name, identity, and image, but all operating under the ultimate control of a central owner. Classifying retailers by prominent strategy. We can distinguish between 2 broad strategies. 1, in-store retailing and direct marketing. In-store retailing may be categorized as specialty, department, supermarket, and convenience stores, etc. Whereas direct marketing includes mail order, door-to-door, e-tailing, and vending machines. Classifying retailers by prominent strategy: in-store retailing, specialty stores, and then department stores. Department stores offer a wide variety of products and provide a full range of customer services, for example, for Shini. Whereas supermarkets, for example, Pick and Pay and Checkers, which offer self-service. Scrambled merchandising involves selling a product mix not traditionally associated with the type of store, whereas convenience stores charge higher prices than other retail and are small supermarkets that carry high turnover products. Woolworth food stores are an example. Mass merchandise retailers or superstores sell at discount prices to achieve higher sales volume, for example, Game and Macro. Whereas catalog showrooms, service merchandise, use published catalogs that identify products for sale in the store, for example, Verimark. And then off-price retailers are specialty mass merchandisers that aggressively promote national brand names of clothing at low prices, for example, Melts. And then category superstores and category killers are examples like Sportsman, Warehouse, and Toys R Us are mass merchandise discounters that specialize in a special product category. Direct marketing. Direct marketing. This falls under classifying retailers by prominent strategy. And we are saying direct marketing is retailing without the brick and mortar store and is also called non-store retailing or direct response marketing. It includes mail order catalogs, magazine advertisements, and telemarketing. Difference between store retailing and non-store retailing. Store retailing involves stores that are divided into a number of categories based on such characteristics as the variety of their product mix, degree of convenience, and overall price levels. Types include specialty, convenience, supermarkets, discount, variety, and off-price retailers. Whereas non-store is retailing that does not take place in stores. Consumers purchase merchandise from vending machines, catalogs, television offers, and through the internet, which is aptly called e-tailing. Different types of retailers. Classifying retailers by types of shopping center. 1, convenience center, for example, a cafe, a butchery, a dry cleaner, and a liquor store. 2, neighborhood center contains a small supermarket, small chemist, hardware store, video rental store, and 1 or 2 fast outlets. 3, community center. This contains a discount store or a department store, a doctor's consulting rooms, and a few convenience stores. And then a power center. This consists of more than 1 anchor store. For example, Pick and Pay, departmental store like Clicks, stationery store like CNA, 1 or 2 restaurants, and some fast food outlets. And then areas center contains up to 3 departmental stores and a wide variety of specialty and convenience foods, restaurants, cinemas, and fast food outlets. And then specialty center, this contains mostly stores that sell similar items, e.g. clothing, home decor, and furniture, or of technology, like for example Voda World. And then lastly, a theme center, e.g. Gold Reef City. Classifying retailers by types of shopping center: convenience center, neighborhood center, community center, power center, area center, specialty center, and theme center. E-tailing or retailing over the internet. The term e-tailing is the name for interactive retailing over the internet, e.g. Amazon.com. And then e-tailing advantages. Shopping from home is convenient and quick. 2, the variety of merchandise available from retailers can often be much greater than that in a store. Smaller retailers can reinforce a local image on the internet as well as reach out to the world. 3, information on websites and search engines can be tailored to stated preferences of consumers. Services provided by retailers: comfortable location, variety, reassortment, processing, information, ownership, after-sale service, financing, social interaction, and even ordering. Let's look at the rights of consumers. What are the rights of consumers? Consumers have got the right to have a safe and clean environment. 2, they have the right to have safe products and safety in using those products. They also have the right to be informed on aspects such as product ingredients. They do have the right to choose between products, services, and retailers. And lastly, to be heard when consumers have legitimate complaints. Retailer services to the manufacturer, producer, and supplier is 1, information. They get services of information, marketing, communication, storage and display. They get ownership, services to deal with after-service service. What is the impact of the retail sector on the economy? The retail sector has got a serious impact on the economy. Why? Because of sales. 2, providing jobs. 3, outlets. 4, cost advantages, and then 5, increasing general prosperity. Let's now look at the retail mix. The retail mix refers to the mix of products offered to the consumer by the retailer, also called the product assortment or merchandise mix. General marketing literature refers to the 4 P's of marketing, i.e. product, price, place, and promotion. The retail marketing mix consists of price, product, place, promotion, people, and presentation decisions. Literature about retailing refers to additional 2 P's, namely people, which consists of customer service, personal selling, and the provision of information. And then presentation, which consists of store image, store layout, and the atmosphere. The 7 R's of retailing. The first one is the right to product. The second one is the right quantities. Third, the right place. Fourth, the right time. They have to receive the product at the right time. 5, the right person. 6, the right promotion. And lastly, the right price. Retail management strategies. The first one is that the merchandiser assortments. 2, location. 3, atmospherics, which refers to the physical characteristic of the environment, e.g. appearance, layout, displays. And then 3, customer service. This refers to courteous customer service, and information from salespeople may differentiate success from failure. 4, storage. This is the way in which the store is defined in the shopper's mind, partially by the functional qualities, e.g. deco, color, layout, signage, and partially by an aura of physiological attributes such as atmospheres, smells, and mood. And then 5, database management. This refers to the information concerning who buys what products and when. And then lastly, 6, internet strategy. Many e-companies, e.g. Amazon.com and Kalahari.com, were founded to conduct business on the internet. Marketing strategies used by retailers. The marketing strategies used by retailers entail looking at the following aspects. 1, target markets. For example, Mr. Price on the fashion conscious, whereas PEP, those looking for lower priced quality clothing, and Markham on the more distinguished individuals. 2, selection of products. Knob and Knocker specializes in door handles, locks, and cupboard accessories. 3, level of service can range from self-service, for example, Pick and Pay, to one-on-one personal contact in a hairdresser. 4, pricing. Woolworth and Markham purchase from different suppliers and determine different markup prices on their clothing range. 5, channels of distribution. Marketing strategies used by retailers. Marketing communications. Retailers promote both themselves and the merchandise by carrying thorough mass advertising and promotional brochures. To image an atmosphere. Atmosphere involves atmospherics, the architecture, lighting, store layout, and even background music. 3, direct marketing. Use of direct selling, direct mail, direct telemarketing to solicit orders from consumers. 4, direct selling. Sales representatives give consumers a personal explanation and demonstration of a product, e.g. rainbow vacuum cleaners. 5, telemarketing. The selling of a product or service by telephoning prospects, describing the product and asking for an order. And then 6, in this chapter, different types of channel participants were discussed. We dealt with franchising, vertical marketing systems were summarized. And hence we looked at a lot of other different issues that relate to distribution from the producer right up to the end of the user. And this was a fascinating workshop. I hope you will be able to go through the information, revise your work, and be able to understand it. More specifically, you should be at the end of it all, be able to apply it in business during your day-to-day transactions. Thank you very much. I look forward to being with you again when we do revision. So long for now. Allow me to welcome you to this workshop where we are going to be dealing with revision in preparation of the forthcoming examinations. Here is the first question that we are going to deal with. I'm going to read it and then I'll explain how you are typically expected to answer it. Brands are important to consider because they add value to the product or service they consume. We find this statement from our prescribed textbook, Kant and Van Heiden, 2010, page 208. The question follows now. Discuss the benefits of branding to consumers. What are the benefits of branding? Now, to answer this, you have to understand the main points that deal with branding. We know that a brand can be anything. It can be a sign, it can be a logo, it can be a symbol, it can also be a name, right? So what we are saying, out of all those, we are therefore saying brands help consumers to distinguish between similar products in the same product category. Meaning, if you are in a related industry where there are substitute products and you find products that are almost the same, people would normally go for branded products, and hence they help to distinguish the particular product from a competing product. Secondly, branding can help to change consumer perceptions of a product in ways that are not related to actual product characteristics. We are also saying that brands communicate what consumers can expect from the brand. So when you are buying a product, somebody goes to a shop, they want to buy some turkeys, they will say, no, I want to buy Converse. Why? It's a branded product and it has been used, tried and tested. People know what it can do. And then also, brands can tell consumers about the special features they carry of the product. What is it about that product? Especially so in terms of attributes, in terms of benefits it can give, and also in terms of its uses. And hence that becomes very important to most consumers. Lastly, brands add value to the product in multiple ways. For example, they reduce product risk for consumers by selecting a well-known product. You are guaranteed that by buying a product that you have used before, you are sure to be happy or satisfied at the end. Why? You have used it before and you know what it can do. So that would answer that, to say these are some of the benefits that accrue to what branded products are and why consumers choose or prefer branded products. The next question says, the objectives set for the marketing communication tool of sales promotion will vary depending on whether the activities are focused on salespeople, the trade, or consumers. Now, the question says, describe some of the objectives that the brand would be trying to meet when sales promotion is focused on consumers. Here, what we are saying is you have to understand the objectives of marketing communication. For example, the first one there will be that it induces trial. When a product has been communicated to a person, remember the reason of that communication would be, one, to inform. It is also about to persuade. And lastly, it is also about to create what? Interest. And hence, after all these factors, a person now has interest, they've been informed, they've been persuaded, and also they've been what? Reminded what a product can do. And at the end of the day, what happens? A person then decides and say, I want to try the product. Hence, we say it induces trial. Secondly, a product also encourages consumers to buy more. It encourages consumers to buy more. Thirdly, it reduces brand switching. And it also builds consumer goodwill. Right? And lastly, but not least, it encourages repeat purchases. So those will be the answer for that question. And like I said, this is not the end. There are quite a lot of others. For example, it builds brand equity and also enhances promotional efforts. Let's look at the next question. The 6 I's of the e-marketing mix highlight the key factors of internet marketing. Describe the following 2 I's. The first one is interactivity. Here you have to understand what that stands for. And one, for example, the customer is the one who initiates contact. Secondly, the customer seeks information, and hence we normally call that pull. Right? And then thirdly, the marketer has the full attention of the visitor viewing the website. Meaning, the marketer is able to see and follow the people, the consumers, who are actually viewing the website. Fourthly, the response of the website visitors can be gathered and stored. So you are able to collect that information, and it can be stored and used for later use. And then the individual needs of the consumer can be focused on. Hence, when you know that in terms of interactivity, you fully know what the consumer wants. And hence, at the end of the day, you are now going to what? To work out and come up with ways to best meet the needs of the consumer, to satisfy the consumer. The second I is individualization. Now we are saying, when we talk about individualization, we are saying each individual is different and each individual has got different needs. Hence, as an organization, as the marketer, you are able to tailor make the product according to each and every specific individual. And we are saying messages can also be what? Shaped. They can be shaped for each and every individual at a relatively low cost. Information is also gathered, can be gathered and stored to be utilized when the consumer needs or next visits the site. So you will now know that this is so and so, this is what they normally order, this is what they normally buy. And hence that information is gathered, it is collected, it is stored, and you can use it next time when somebody comes and visits the same website. Let's now look at the next question, which says there are 6 unique characteristics of social media. Describe the following characteristics. The first one is authenticity. What we are saying here, what is authentic about the character of the social media? And we are saying that the information is unfiltered. It is unfiltered. And hence it is authentic. And then we are also saying the information is also spontaneous. And we are saying it is coming directly from the various participants. And lastly, this makes the communication more trustworthy and believable because it is coming from the what? It is coming from the source, right? Directly from the what? From the participants. The second one is immediacy. Immediacy. Now, when we talk about immediacy, we are saying you are able to receive the information in real time. You receive it in real time at the moment when you want it, right? And we are saying that information is conveyed in real time, and which makes it very what? Relevant. It makes the information very relevant. Let's look at the next question, which says, brand extension can be described as taking advantage of the success of a brand by extending it to other products and services. Question 1, identify and describe any advantage of extending the brand. Now, the advantage of extending a brand comes from the fact that it will be easier for the brand to gain acceptance by customers if it is linked to a successful brand. So if you are selling a brand, a product that is branded, that is already known, it will make it much easier for it to sell because the information is already out there. People already know about that brand. And then secondly, fewer resources will be required to launch and promote the brand as consumers are already familiar with the what? With the brand. You don't need to waste a lot of money to advertise the brand, to be known, to inform consumers, to persuade them, to remind them why the brand is already known. The second question there says, identify and describe with the use of an example any two of the three types of strategies used in the brand extension. Now, there are we find here more than two, but let's deal with them all. The first one is what is known as a line extension. A line extension. Now, here we are saying a line extension is a new product or service launched in the same sector, right? A new product or service launched in the same sector. For example, we can look at what we had an original brand which was Coke, and then another extension was actually launched in the same sector, and we have what? Coke Light. Okay? The next one is what is known as range extension. Range extension. Now, with range extension, we are saying it's a new range of products or services launched in the same area of competence and capability. Examples will be, for example, we have Nivea, right? And then we ended up now from that Nivea having what? Nivea for men, right? So it was launched in the same area of what? Competence or capability. And then the last one would be brand extension. Brand extension. Here we are saying it is expanding the brand into new and different what? Categories. For example, we know there is the products under the brand Virgin, and we end up having what? What is known as Virgin Money. The next question says, the best designed website is worthless without visitors. A company can utilize various practices to increase potential visitors to their website. Provide an explanation to the following. What is a search engine optimization? Search engine optimization, commonly known as SEO. SEO. And we are saying this refers to the work done to a website to ensure it gets noticed and ranked highly by the search engines. SEO is done by one, building a search engine that is what? Friendly, a search engine friendly website. Secondly, being able to identify relevant keywords for searches and building these into the website. Thirdly, submitting the URL to search engines. And then fourthly, linking the website to others. And then lastly, tweaking, meaning tweaking, you are able to edit, to add or subtract whatever is on your website. Tweaking the site in line with the needs of consumers to improve the ranking. The last question there says, establish inbound links. Establish inbound links. Inbound links refers to links on other websites which refer visitors to the company website. The more the inbound links the site has, the more likely it will be seen as important by the search engines. Links with complementary business and industry associations are useful. Generally, links may be sought, bought, or a cross-link negotiated. Let's now deal with the last question for today. The different tools that are used to promote a product. And we have got a number of them. Firstly, we do have what we all know, advertising, right? Where in most cases when we talk about advertising, we are saying this is a paid form. You have to pay for it to have your products what? Advertised. And then secondly, we can also have sales promotion. Where products are actually promoted and samples are given, people are allowed to test, to try, use the products before they can even buy. We also have what is called as direct response marketing. This involves reaching out for consumers. You explain, a brief explanation is given about the product, and it allows a feedback response. There and there, you can get immediate response, immediate feedback on what is going on. Feedback is immediate, right? It allows feedback. Okay, and then you also look at others like personal tools, like personal selling. This is mostly the most expensive because it allows you to go and visit people and talk to them face to face, and hence it is very costly. But it allows people also to give you information. You are able to collect, proper information, correct information. What do people want? And you get that, and at the end of the day, you are able to therefore give them exactly what they want or what they are demanding. You can also have others like sponsorship, where a company sponsors certain events in return for them to be able to get what? Publicity. They build their public image because of that sponsorship. We do have companies like ABSA. ABSA sponsors the Kerry Cup rugby. They sponsor replanting of trees in the Kruger National Park, and because of that, they then get that exposure, they get feedback, and a lot of people get to know them because of the good work that they are doing. We also know that Nedbank sponsors the Sun City Golf Tournament, and they actually benefit from that publicity that is going to be generated from sponsoring that event. We also have other tools like public relations, where the department manages the identity of the organization. They manage the image, the perceptions people have about the organization, and hence the more or the better an image perception people have, the better the organization is going to be able to sell a lot of products, or a lot of have a lot of sales. So for today we'll end here. Please continue with your revision, prepare yourself. You can also get in touch. You have my details, my email, you have my cell phone number. Please get in touch, find out, let's engage, let's discuss, and let's continue to revise as we prepare for the examination. Thank you so much. It was nice being with you. I'll see you next time. So long for now.